Hello dear students, this is O.P. Rai from Jagran Public School, Varanasi, and today I am going to explain to you the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers written by Adrienne from Class-12 English book Flamingo. First of all, let's get to know about the poet. Adrienne was born in 1929 in Baltimore, Maryland, USA. She is widely known for her involvement in contemporary women's movement as a poet and theorist. She has published 19 volumes of poetry, 3 collections of essays, among other literary works. Her strong protests and resistance against racism, misogyny, and patriarchy echo through her work. She beautifully and vividly portrays the experience of women in society, especially in relationships, wherein they are ill-treated and subjugated. Ordeals and hardships faced by the women across the globe find expression in her poetries and writings. Thus, she was called one of the most widely read, influential poets of the second half of 20th century and was credited for bringing the oppression of women and lesbians to the forefront of poetic discourse. She died in the year 2012 in California, US. Now let's get to know about the poem. In the poem, The Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, poetess describes the experience of a married woman referred as Aunt Jennifer. She expresses her yearning and longing to live a dignified and peaceful life marked with courage, self-esteem, free from constrictions and subjugation through her art. The tigers she has made on the panel reflect her innermost desire to be fearless and free, which is in sharp contrast with a real-life marriage experience. In a real-life marriage experience, she is fear-stricken, dominated, oppressed, and traumatized. She silently suffers the pressure and dominance of her husband. The poem is written in couplets and abounds in images and symbols. Theme of the poem. In the poem, the poetess reveals the hardships and ordeals of Aunt Jennifer's married life. The image of the massive weight of Uncle's wedding band suggests the pressure of a demanding, full of ordeals married life with a domineering uncle. It conveys that Jennifer feels oppressed and victimized by her husband's despotic attitude and behavior. The poet also shows that even a timid and meek person craves to be bold, brave, and dignified. The timid aunt expresses the longing to be unafraid through her tigers she has created. Her tigers prance and jump across the screen proudly and fearlessly, whereas she is squeezed and frightened by her husband in real life. The poet underlines the fact that patriarchy may control a woman's form but not her spirit. Symbols and images. Poetess has used various symbols and images to convey dominance of man over woman and the oppression suffered by the wife at the hands of her husband. For example, tigers. Tigers in the poem symbolize courage and freedom of spirit, which Aunt Jennifer longs for in her life. Bright topaz. It highlights the bright yellow color of the tigers. Fluttering wool. It suggests the terror experienced by Aunt Jennifer as her husband is overbearing and despotic. Uncle's wedding band. It suggests that Aunt Jennifer is oppressed, terrified, and is squeezed by her husband's dominance over her. It conveys the harsh and terrible experience of a married life. Let's look at the meaning of the difficult words of the poem. Prance. To move quickly with exaggerated steps. To pass. of a yellowish brown color. Sleek, it means elegant. Chivalric. Chivalric is a system of values such as gallant, polite, and honorable. Fluttering. Fluttering means moving quickly and lightly, which means shaking. Mastered, managed and controlled. Ordeals, difficulties and unpleasant experiences. Summary of the poem. The poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, composed by Adrienne, quite vividly and strikingly reflects the pathetic state of women in married life. It brings forth real issues faced by women in male-dominated society where patriarchy and misogyny reign supreme, unchecked and unfettered. Aunt Jennifer's created tigers prance and jump across the screen, which she has made with woolen thread. They look bright and elegant like the shining yellow topaz, and are proud and fearless. However, she on the other hand feels so crushed and terrified that her strength and spirit has weakened and finds even the ivory needle hard to pull, with which she makes her tigers. The heavy weight of a marriage band that symbolically associates her with her husband sits heavily upon her hand. The figure of the marriage band here suggests the operation of custom and law implicitly. Even after death, the terrified hands of Aunt Jennifer reveal the sad story of her unhappy married life, whereas the art created by her will survive long after she is gone, suggesting that the function of art is to express and immortalize the dreams and struggles of human spirit. Her art, the tigers on the screen, is symbolic of her desire for freedom from male dominance, oppression, and subjugation. Hence, her art truly expresses her craving to escape from the entrapment of gender and domestic prejudices and domineering prevalence of patriarchy and misogyny. Dear students, it is imperative that we see through the poetic devices used in the poem. To begin with, we have synecdoche and transferred epithet, example of which is terrified hands in the third stanza representing her being terrified. Pun, referring to the words that sound alike but has different meaning. For example, ringed in third stanza. Ring that sits heavily on her finger refers to difficulties that always surround her. Irony. There are some classic mentioning of irony in the poem. For example, a weak and submissive woman, Aunt Jennifer, weaving pictures of tigers that are strong and fearless. Secondly, brutal, savage tigers are depicted as chivalric and civilized men are depicted as oppressors. Even when the creator dies, her work will continue to exist. This also is an example of irony. Contrast. Characteristic of Aunt Jennifer and that of the tigers are strong contrasts used in the poem. Alliteration. Fingers fluttering and prancing proud are the examples of alliteration used in the poem. Imageries. Imageries in the poem abound. Some of the examples of imageries in the poem are bright topaz, denizens in the world of green, men beneath the tree, wedding band, which are quite descriptive visually. Hyperbole. The weight of a husband's wedding ring is hyperbolic expression used in the poem. Dear students, I sincerely hope that this video will help you understand this poetry, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. See you next. Till then, goodbye and thank you.